So nice to see you all. If you've been an Ethical Society member for a while, and many of you have as I look around the room, you know I've been playing music at various society events for many, many years. Now, one of the people who's attended many of my programs is none other than Pat Spencer, who is sitting in the audience. And Pat has been kind of intrigued by me and my music and has had a number of questions as to why I do what I do and so on. And because she arranges music programs, or speakers rather, for the Sunday morning talks, she contacted me and said, Mel, I think you'd be a good speaker for a Sunday program. And I said, what? I do music programs. What should I speak about? So she and I talked about it, and she came up with a number of questions that she had. Actually, there were 4 questions that she and I thought might be interesting to her for me to answer, and also for you to get answers to. These 4 questions, by the way, has nothing to do with the 4 questions that are asked in a Passover Seder. Just wanted to get that straightened out. Okay. And the 4 questions, actually there were 2 about me, 2 about my programs. 2 questions about me. Mel, what has made you so interested in music? And the other question is, okay, not everyone interested in music presents music programs. So why do you do this? Why? And she had some questions about the programs. Mel, how do you go about finding the music that you play? Where do you go? I know you play opera programs and popular music. Where do you go to get the songs or the arias? And then once you find what you're looking for in terms of songs, how do you go about choosing which version of a particular song to play? Because there are actually many, many versions of the songs or arias that I play. So those questions sounded interesting to me, and I agreed to answer those questions in this talk. So let's begin with the first. Why am I so interested in music? And actually the reason is going back to a very difficult childhood. My father actually was very much of a strict authoritarian who was either criticizing everyone in the family, my mother, my sister, and me. And when he wasn't doing that, he was reading the newspaper at mealtime or afterwards. So, in addition to that, my parents were unhappily married. My father either belittling or showing little or no love to me, my sister, or my mother. And unfortunately, neither my sister nor my mother was able to offer me enough protection or comfort. So, to protect my sanity, I had to escape. And what did I do? Well, I could have done drugs. I could have been an alcoholic. No, instead I found protection in, first of all, retreating from my family and listening mainly to music on the radio. And from 1948 on, when we got our TV, I watched music and entertainment programs. So it was music that saved me. Various kinds of music. There was popular music, which I listened to on the radio. From the mid-40s on, I listened to popular singers and songs that I liked on my little Philco radio that we had in the house. And from the mid-50s on, I listened to rock and roll music, along with popular music. I also watched a lot of TV. There were great singers who performed in either TV specials or in series, people like Bing Crosby, Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, etc. And I also went to the movies. You remember going to movie theaters? Remember that? Yeah, we all did that a while back. And they were wonderful MGM musicals in the late 40s and 50s. Meet Me in St. Louis, or Louis, depending on how you pronounce it, The Bandwagon, one of the great movie musicals of all time, Singing in the Rain, and many, many more. I also listened to opera from the early 1960s on, thanks to a friend who took me to the Metropolitan Opera House, and I saw a wonderful performance of Madame Butterfly, and I was hooked. I also listened to classical music, and that too provided a great sense of pleasure. The reason I found that music was kind of a wonderful, soothing way of retreating and also sustaining me was that the music contained, whether it's popular or opera or classical, it contained the emotions that were really missing from my home: love, joy, intimacy, excitement, passion, among many others. So, just because I listened to music that fulfilled some emotional needs doesn't mean I would play music for other people. So then, to answer the second question, why did I do that? Well, I contemplated my navel for a long time, and I came up with the following answer. I think I was born with a desire to share what I love and to teach others about it. And I did that ever since I was little. I would teach my family, friends, and neighbors about various things that interested me. And then, as I grew up throughout my teenage and adult years, I would share with others the music that I especially loved. To me, sharing my love of music is a form of teaching. And I have been actually a teacher pretty much all my life. I was a day-to-day substitute teacher in New York City schools in my early 20s. I went to blackboard jungle schools and somehow survived. Students were standing on desks and going from one desk to another and threatening to throw fellow students out the window. But I somehow survived that and enjoyed the actual teaching part. And then I was an English teacher in various places. In my late 20s, I was a teaching fellow at Boston University, and I taught freshman English there. Then, in my 30s, I was a college teacher at Penn State, one of the campuses of Penn State in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I taught students how to teach English in secondary schools. However, in 1980, I left because I didn't get tenure. However, I was not defeated, picked myself up, dusted myself off, and started all over as a head of my own company. Back in 1981, shortly after I didn't get tenure, to earn a living, I formed my own company called Writing Development Associates. The associates were me, myself, and I. It was a one-person firm, and I was quite successful at doing the teaching of business writing workshops in corporations and in government agencies. I did that for 32 years, and I retired in 2013. But I did not do any music programs until 1999. Then, in 1999, I joined, along with my wife Barbara, an organization I think you've heard of, the Ethical Humanist Society of Long Island. And shortly after I joined, I felt a need to do some teaching of music, aside from the teaching of English that I was doing. And I started an opera appreciation group back in 1999 for the Ethical Society, May 1999. It actually lasted as long as 12 years until June 2011. From 2000 to 2011, I did SPICE events, fundraisers. And what I did was played music at my home, and I loved doing that. Then in 2013, when I retired, I had lots of free time. I certainly enjoyed teaching music appreciation or courses, programs, fundraisers for the Ethical Society, but I said, gee, I'd like to do this elsewhere if I could. So Barbara and I had a very good friend named Benita, and she was teaching English as a second language in libraries in Nassau County. And when I got together with her and she said, I said to her, I'm thinking of doing some teaching someplace aside from the Ethical Society, and I notice you're doing teaching. Do you think I might be able to do something for libraries? She said, sure. Libraries offer so many different kinds of programs, and I didn't know that. So I contacted libraries. I had maybe 3 or 4 programs I developed, sent information to librarians who were interested in receiving that information, and lo and behold, they wanted me to do my programs. And since 2013, I've been offering quite a few of the opera and popular music programs that I developed. Actually, by now, I have 40 opera programs and 40 popular music programs, and I keep developing them, and I love doing that. So I go into libraries, various organizations, colleges, and I get great pleasure from giving people pleasure. But I didn't stop doing music for the Ethical Society. So in 2020, when the pandemic began, I did music programs via Zoom. Then from 2021 to the current date, I've been doing music programs as fundraisers. And for the past few years, as you all know, I've been coming up with songs played after the Sunday morning address. And yes, I was the one today who has come up with a song, as usual, and Judy will announce what that is. So, to go back to the title of this talk, Mel Haber, the Man and the Music, I've just told you about the man, and that's me, or that's I, if you want to be grammatically correct. Let's get to the 2 questions regarding my music. How do I go about finding the songs or the arias that I play? Well, when I know I'm doing a program on the music of Irving Berlin, or I'm doing a program about famous opera arias, what I do is I go to Google, or I go directly to YouTube, and I search for available songs that I think would be ones that I like, and then what I do is I say, aha, okay, I'm going to choose a particular song, but there are many, many, many versions of a particular song that I want to play. What I often do, almost always, I listen to about a half dozen or more versions. So, for example, recently I played, let's see, I don't remember a particular song. Let's say the one, a particular song, the spring. It might as well be spring. I listened to about 5 or 6 different versions until I come across a version that I like and that I think you will like. That's how I choose. And my intent is to have people in the audience feel the emotions or feelings that I feel in music. And I use my heart to bring out, as they say in the Ethical Society, the best in others. But what criteria do I use to determine what I like and what I think you'll like? So let me tell you, it's not based on any musical training that I've had. No, I've had no formal training in music, can't read music at all, and the few music appreciation courses I've taken, I really have had very little influence. So, what influences what I like and what I choose? It's really based on the listening that I've done for about 70 years, ever since I was young. I've been listening to music, comparing different versions ever since I was this high, of music that I've heard on the radio, TV, or records. And my goal is always to find the best version, the benchmark version, at least as far as I'm concerned. That's how my taste has been formed. So when it might as well be spring is something that I'm thinking of playing, I'll listen to about at least half dozen versions and say, this version, nah, I don't like that one. There must be a better version. It's not bad, but nah, not good enough for me or for you. And then I listen to another one. Okay, nah, it still doesn't knock my socks off. And it might be version 7 that I finally get to. I said, that's the one. That's how I choose. Now, some of the factors I consider in evaluating music is the beauty of the singer's voice. Is the emotion genuine that I'm hearing? What about the musical arrangement? Do I like the orchestra that's accompanying a particular singer? If it's an opera aria, is the conductor too fast, too slow? And what about singers? Do they hold notes too long or too short? And then ultimately, how moved was I by the version? I need to be moved by it. And those are some things, not all, but some of the things that I listen for. Now, to illustrate much more specifically how I choose a piece of music, I'm going to play 2 different versions of a popular song, which I'm sure many of you know. That song is Hello, Young Lovers, from Rodgers and Hammerstein's show, The King and I. Now, first, I'm going to be playing both versions back to back. 2 women singing it, and then I'll ask you which version you preferred. Now, I want you to go first rather than me, so you don't get swayed by my preferences. As you listen to each version, some of you may like both equally, and if so, that's fine. But I'd like you to explain what you liked and why you liked them equally. However, some of you may say, oh, that first version was so much better than the second, or the second was so much better than the first. But I'll ask you, why did you like one version versus the other? Then, after some of you give your opinions, I'm going to give you mine, but not right away. I'm going to replay both versions, singer 1 and then singer 2. And as I play singer 1, I'm going to comment on what I hear. It may be something that you hear as well. And what I hear, I'll tell you in terms of I like that, or I'll tell you why, or I don't like it. Just as I hear it, or a second after, I'll make a comment. Now, as I hear each version, and you've heard my comments about the first, then you're going to hear my comments about the second, it should be clear why I like one version versus the other. And of course, my taste may not agree with yours. So, Linda, if you like version 1 versus version 2, which may be, that's okay. There's no right answer. You're entitled to like version 2. Now, if Rick Shaper sitting there likes version 2 better, you're entitled to that opinion, okay? There's no right answer. So, by the way, neither of the 2 singers is awful. That would be cruel. That would be, and it wouldn't be much fun trying to compare. So, both are quite good. Now, the music, as I said, is Hello, Young Lovers. The first singer is named Rita Harvey. By the way, both singers are ones that I had no idea who they were. I could have played the music, the version from the film, in which Deborah Carr mouths the words that Marnie Nixon sings. Marnie Nixon was the voice of Deborah Carr. I could have played that, but you know Deborah Carr and you might be influenced. So I decided to pick 2 singers whom I didn't know and you probably don't know either. Rita Harvey is the first one. She's performing with the Greensboro Symphony. I don't have a date on it. And that will be followed by another woman whom I didn't know at all, named Laura Michelle Kelly. And she's singing with the Mormon Tabernacle Orchestra. So, once again, this man's going to play both versions back to back, starting with Rita Harvey and then Laura Michelle Kelly. Listen carefully, and then I'll ask you which version you'd like better. Okay.
When the earth smelled of summer, and the sky was streaked with white, and the soft mist of England was sleeping on a hill, I remember this, and I always will. There are new lovers now on that same silent hill, looking at the same blue sea, and I know Tom and I are a part of them all, and they're all a part of Tom and me. Hello, young lovers, whoever you are, I hope your troubles are through. All my good wishes go with you tonight. I've had a love like you. Be brave, young lovers, and follow your star. Be brave and faithful and true. Cling very close to each other tonight. I've had a love like you. I know how it feels to have wings on your heels and to fly down the street in a trance. You fly down the street on the chance that you'll meet, and you'll meet not really by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do. Don't cry because I'm alone. All of my memories are happy tonight. I've had a love of my own. I've had a love of my own like yours. I've had a love of my I know how it feels to have wings on your heels and to fly down the street in a trance. You fly down the street on the chance that you'll meet, and you'll meet not really by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do. Don't cry because I'm alone. All of my memories are happy tonight. think of Tom, I think about a night when the earth smelt of summer and the sky was streaked with white, and the soft mist of England was sleeping on a hill. I remember this, and I always will. There are new lovers now on that same silent hill, looking at the same blue sea. And I know Tom and I are a part of them all, and they're all a part of Tom and me. Hello, young lovers, whoever you are, I hope your troubles are few. All my good wishes go with you tonight. I've been in love like you. Be brave, young lovers, and follow your star. Be brave and faithful and true. Cling very close to each other tonight. I've been in love like you. I know how it feels to have wings on your heels and to fly down the street in a trance. You fly down the street and the chance that you'll meet, and you meet not really by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do. Don't cry because I'm alone. All of my memories are happy tonight. I've had a love of my own. I've had a love of my own like yours. I've had a love of my own.
Okay, you've heard two different versions. And we have a microphone that we could use? Yes. Yep, which we're going to pass around for people's comments. And I'm going to be asking you, which version did you prefer, or would you like both versions equally? And if you can, please explain why you like one version. Yeah, Joan, you're going to pass that around? Thank you. Who would like to comment first? Donna, Frank, go ahead back there. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I like the second version.
You did?
I thought her voice, and I don't know anything, I thought her voice was lower, and I appreciated the sound more, and she was lovely.
Okay, Al?
Yeah, I like the second version better. First of all, the first version was operatic and didn't get the mood of the song at all. The second version, you could feel the emotion in her voice, expressing the feelings of the song, and that's what makes a song good.
Huh? Who else? Linda?
I'll just say that I completely agree with what Al said.
Yeah, there may be some Zoom people before we get to some others here. Are there any Zoom people? Can you see? Who? Yeah, we have some people in the audience. Speak if you would. Who has the hand up? Rich?
Yes, I have to agree with Al, and Linda. The phrasing was marvelous. She created suspense with her pauses, and I I just enjoyed it so much more. The facial expressions, the warmth of her character, it just was a wonderful performance. Anybody who disagrees with me is wrong.
Okay. Anyone else on Zoom? Can we see? Well, let's have someone here. Okay. Mike?
No, I was just wondering if this would have been a different experience if we just listened to it rather than having the visual.
Might be. Might be.
And I'm going to be a little different. I think I like the first one a little better.
Good. I was hoping someone would. And could you explain why, Mike?
No.
No. Well, that's clear. Okay. Pat?
Most probably go for another version than these two.
Ah.
However,
Which version, by the way? Do you have a version in mind?
no, but the pitch between the two. So the first one almost hurt my ears, but I really liked her control. I was just amazed at how she was able to sing it at that pitch.
The first version.
Right.
Yeah.
The second version is much more to my taste because I like to sing along to music, and I feel that I could sing along to that.
Okay.
Well, I like most of the group, the second version, because I thought the operatic version was very limiting in what the singer could do. It was very formulaic. I'm not sure that's the right word.
Formulaic, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And the second version, she could express her personality more, and I got much more emotional from it.
Okay. Yeah, David, in a moment, David, we'll get to you. Yeah, Vinny? Oh, I'm sorry, that's not
This
Vinny.
is,
Yes, back there.
I join with the others in preferring two. Now, the first singer was operatic, but poor operatic. She suffered from the flaw that many sopranos have of excess nasality, which clipped her tones so that it came through as a forced expression. The second singer, vocal tone was open and full-throated, and you could sense a difference. Even if she was a higher register to sing, that open throat would have produced beautiful sound.
Okay. David Sprinson, do you want to, David and Alice, they have their hand up. Okay, if you would.
I like the second one for all the reasons that were mentioned. Plus, she had a better dress on.
Better dress. That's a criteria for liking something better, yeah? Okay. Anyone like the first better? Frank? Frank has his hand up. Joan?
Well, I wanted to comment that I wanted to vote for Elaine, who was singing along throughout both of these versions.
Yes.
And we never could hear her, so that could have been a third.
That would have been a third. Maybe that's the version Pat prefers. Okay.
Lucky you didn't hear it.
Yeah. Frank?
Well, not to be contrary, but to be a little contrary here. I really loved the first one much better than the second. Although the second, I agree, she had a warmer presence. I think her presentation was more natural. Her energy level, to my taste, was considerably lower. The first singer put forth a tremendous amount of emotional energy and was able to project that, and was able to reach something in me which stimulated those emotions. So for me, the first one, definitely.
Donna?
I think it's interesting. I did not watch. I wanted to listen.
Okay.
And I think part of the exercise, if we're just judging vocal attributes, is something to consider. Now, you didn't really talk about that.
No.
What was talked about was looking, how did they put the song over? But from what I heard from you, and I wonder, and maybe you'll share this with us, when you decide and listen to all the versions, are you looking at the performer, or are you really just tuning into the musical quality?
No, generally I don't look at the performer.
Okay, so that
It's
was.
the voice.
That's
quality.
why I didn't look, so I could really tune
Okay,
in.
what did you find? What
I
was your
like
opinion?
number two. I like I'm not a music person. I couldn't analyze what the qualities were. There was something about the quality of her voice that just did it, with other things that have been mentioned. But if you looked at the two, and they're both quality singers, the quality of the second voice just resonated.
Okay, there should be an interesting discussion when Frank and Donna leave here and go home. Maybe a fight, perhaps, but I doubt that. It's okay. No, there's no right answer. Okay, yeah.
Yes, hi. To be quite honest with you, I grew up with all this. My dad had huge speakers, and we primarily listened to opera. So actually, the first voice, from my perspective, even though I saw this at some point, I don't know if it was at the Philharmonic or, was less a musical than more an opera to me. And her voice was exquisite. Not to say the second wasn't, but it was a completely different presentation.
Okay, that unfortunately, yeah, we're going to have to stop. But I'd like to, if I can, play both versions and tell you what I hear, okay, as we go through this? Okay. So as you play the first Rita Harvey, I'm going to tell you what I hear exactly as I hear it, which may or may not be what you hear, and there's no right answer. Okay, just my opinions. Whatever you want. Rita Harvey first. There she is. Good, that's fine.
When I think of Tom,
Nice.
I think about a night when the earth smelled of summer and the sky was streaked with white and the soft mist of England was sleeping on a hill. I remember this, and I always will. There are new lovers now on that same silent hill, looking at the same blue sea. And I know Tom and I are a part of them all.
Ready?
And they're all a part of Tom and me. Hello, young lovers, whoever you are. I hope your troubles are through. All my good wishes go with you tonight. I've had a love like you. Be brave, young lovers, and follow your star. Be brave and faithful and true.
Tired of the operatic
Cling
quality.
very close to each other tonight. I've had a love like you. I know how it feels to have wings on your heels and to fly down the street in a trance. You fly down the street on the chance that you'll meet, and you'll meet not really by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do. Don't cry because I'm alone. All of my memories are happy to fly down the street in a trance. You fly down the street on the chance that you'll meet, and you'll meet, not really by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do. Don't cry because I'm alone.
I'm feeling that she's not feeling
All
the
of
song.
my memories are happy tonight. I've had a love of my own. I've had a love of my own like yours. I've had a love of my own.
And that's the way an opera is. It's okay. Doesn't knock my socks off. Next one, please. Oh, yes.
When I think of Tom,
Rich
I
voice.
think about a night when the earth smelt of summer and the sky was streaked with white, and the soft mist of England was sleeping on a hill. I remember this.
That's a beautiful sound.
And I always will. There are new lovers now on that same silent hill, looking at the same blue sea. And I know Tom and I are a part of them all, and they're all a part of Tom
Nice, rich.
and me.
Just beautiful singing.
Hello, young lovers, whoever you are. I hope your troubles are few. All my good wishes go with you tonight. I've been in love like you.
Very delicate singing, the phrases.
Be brave, young lovers, and follow your star. Be brave and faithful and true.
She says the words the way she.
Being very close to each other tonight. I've been in love like you. I know how it feels to have wings on your heels and to fly down the street in a trance. You fly down the street on the chance that you'll meet, and you meet, not really by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do. Don't cry because I'm alone. All of my memories are happy tonight. I've had a love of my own. I've had a love of my own like yours.
Valley.
I've had a love of my own.
Just beautiful. Huh. And so, thank you so much for coming, and I'm hoping that you've learned some things about me and my music. Well, wait, that's hard. Let me think about that. Yes, obviously, the second. First one wasn't bad, but clearly when you begin comparing, which is what I do all the time, that's how my taste has been formed. And again, not everyone will agree with what I choose in my programs, but it's my taste, and that's I defend myself for saying it's my taste. I know what I like, but I never say you're wrong. This is my taste. Yeah, Well, could we take some questions later? Yeah, later. Okay. So thank you so much. Been a pleasure.